Minsoo is going to teach you how he annotates books, right? He's a huge Twilight fan, can't you tell? Hi, I'm Minsoo. Today I'm here to talk about how I annotate my books, how I do it, why I do it, what methods I use, and also how I write my reviews. Just bought this notebook to make some notes in it because sometimes I have the random ideas for videos and I don't really like to type them on my phone. I'd prefer to actually write them on paper. So I got this little notebook to just write my ideas. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at my notes. I'm basically reading my notes about annotating. Okay, so first of all, we'll start by the supplies, and I'll show you all the supplies that I use to just annotate my books, obviously. To annotate my books, I basically use 4 to 5 items. So the first of them is these highlighters. I actually didn't used to use them, but now I do. I feel that everything looks more colorful, and I used to also do it in my college notes, so I'm really used to just highlighting pretty much everything. I studied law, so I had to underline a lot of laws. These were super helpful, but I only do this on books that I'm sure that I like or that I want to keep and don't want to sell. So for example, I am highlighting Twilight because I'm reading it ironically. It's so bad that it's so good. But I won't get rid of it, so I like to keep my copy with the highlighted notes. So this is the first supply I use. Then next, another thing I use are these sticky tabs, and these are the ones that I'm currently using for Twilight. And these are just some other random ones that I have. I actually have more colors in these. I can insert a link for these. I bought them on Shein, so I'll put a link in the description for all of my supplies. And these sticky tabs are really nice. Oh, hi Milo. Milo is here. But as I was saying, I use these sticky tabs and I find them really nice. They are very good quality, and before I used to use thinner ones, but I think that they're more, I don't know, I'm used to using bigger sticky notes. So these are nice if you want to highlight a sentence, but you don't want to use an actual highlighter. You can use this instead of putting them like this on the outside. You can use them to highlight sentences instead of using the highlighter, because this is transparent, so if you put it over the text it will still be see-through. So that's also a nice idea if you don't want to write directly on your books. Then for pens, I use this one, which is a permanent marker, and this is just a thin blue permanent marker that I use. I have this since college and it's still running. I don't know how. And then I have this black marker. It's like this, really thin, and I like to write with it. This is actually a pen that people use to draw, and I do have these for drawing as well, but I do prefer them to write instead of other gel markers, because this doesn't just get smudged or anything. So I really like this marker. I also use a mechanical pencil, and I have had this for the longest time. I've had this mechanical pencil since I don't know, probably the 11th grade. I was 16 back then, so I'm 24 now, so almost 10 years. And finally, for the rest of my supplies, I do have these clear sticky tabs that they don't look clear like this, but if you take out one, these are see-through, so you can write some text on it. And again, if you don't want to just write on your books directly, you can put this on your book and just underline and write over it. Basically, in terms of supplies, that's it. I don't use much. At least I think I don't use much. Now I'll explain why do I annotate, because sometimes people do it only for the aesthetics, which is completely fine. do it for whatever reason you want, because the most important thing is that you have fun while doing it. So that's totally fine. I have a lot of reasons why I do annotate, and one of them is that sometimes I do take longer to read a certain book. For example, Babel, I'm not reading it, oh, in my glasses again. But for example, Babel, I'm not reading it just like at once. I read almost half of the book and then I stopped for a bit because this holds a lot of information, and there are also other books that I wanted to read, so I stopped. But I do intend on picking it up soon. It's nice to just have something annotated, because you can always go back if you don't remember something. And when you're making reviews, especially in my case, sometimes I tend to just forget everything about a book. Not that it's not good, but my mind is a mess. So the annotation really helps me to just go back and write a full, just more clear review of it. That's basically one of the reasons. So if the book is like a series, if you have more books in the series, for example, you have read the first book in 1 year, and then after 1 or 2 years you read the second book, but you don't remember the first book quite clearly, you can always go back to your notes and just check everything that's like plot important, or just things that you noticed that were like little things hidden that will be talked about next. I don't know, I hope that makes sense. Another reason is that I also feel like I'm engaging more with the book while I'm reading it and annotating at the same time, because I think I'm paying a lot more attention. Since I get distracted very easily, annotating just makes me need to focus on what I'm reading and what I want to actually underline. So that's pretty useful for me, at least. And the final reason is just because I miss annotating stuff. I really like to annotate. In college, I made all of these like summaries of all the things that we talked about in class, and I annotated all of my law books, like I said. So I really miss that, to be honest. I don't really miss college, but I do miss that part. And I really like writing on paper. That's why I got this. So that's also a reason why I annotate. Okay, so next is the methods I use to annotate. And the first of all is color coding. I actually didn't used to do it. So if you notice with Babel, I only used one color of sticky tabs for it. But with Twilight, I used a lot more colors. And then color coding is basically you put a color of the sticky note and then you write on it or in front of it what that color means. For example, I have Hedward being an ass, Bella being clumsy hoop. This is just cringe. Who even wrote this? Bella being an ass. I'm not like the other girls. I actually like this part because there are some parts that I actually like because, you know, nostalgia. And oh shit / oh boy moments. My tabs make no sense literally, but this is how I do it. This is color coding and I do really find it fun. Before I found that it was, oh, this will be just way too much of work, but I'm personally loving it like that because I can find the things that I want in a book more easily. I also did it with Crying in the Age Mart. As you can see, I used the thinner sticky tabs for this one. And in the beginning, I also did put the sticky tabs with the meaning behind them. You can see I put just mother-daughter dynamics, the connection between family and food, quotes I liked or found funny, very emotional sad moments, and inner conflict with her ethne, because this is a memoir. I actually really like this book, by the way. I really recommend this. So yeah, color coding is basically that you take a post-it and you just attribute a color to a theme. And also some people do use different highlighters to highlight the same book. just using the color method like I use the sticky notes, but I do prefer just using one color of highlighter. For example, for Twilight I use this one, which is like a beige color, and then I just use the sticky tabs to color coding it. But then that's another option if you don't want to just write on your books. Instead of using the highlighters, you can always do, like I said, use these transparent sticky notes or these ones, these thinner ones, to put over the sentences. Or you can also have like a little notebook that you can carry around and just, for example, write down the page and the paragraph that you want to make a note on, or you can write it on your phone, for example. That's also an option because we always have our phones with us. But personally, I do prefer the highlighter or the transparent post-it method. So yeah. And also the themes that I write on each sticky note is different from the book, each book that I'm reading. Because, for example, like I said, here, this is a book that I'm reading, first ironically, and second, it's a whole different subject from this one. I just basically annotate, and then I'll put some sticky notes of different colors, and then I'll just make a note here with the permanent marker. So this is basically how I do it. Next is how I write my reviews. So actually this ain't that deep, to be honest. I'm not that great at writing reviews because I'm the worst at writing and explaining my like train of thoughts. I have this notebook where I write my full reviews and just like total raw honest reviews that are like 1 page long or more, or just short even. And then I have this reading journal where basically I just answer the questions that Hannah makes, which is the creator of this journal, a clockwork reader. This is where I write everything. She has some questions, and then you can put the rating that you give the book and write the title, the author, etc. So this is more of a short review of the book, and this one is more of an insightful, just full-on review of the book. I don't always write a review right after I read a book because sometimes like I said, I use my notes to just go through everything and see what I did like, what I didn't like, because sometimes like a book can be really good and then end in a way that you don't like, and you'll be like, oh, I hate this book, but no, I just didn't like this part, but there are other parts that I like. So that will help me give a more true rating to the book, like a more true review. I don't do much. This is basically what I do. I'm still a beginner at annotating, but this is what I've done so far and it works for me. So I also hope that it works for you and gives you like a few pointers to start annotating your books. You can start annotating and not liking it, which is totally fine. For me, I do like it because, like I said, in college I used to love annotating books, so that's why part of me loves to do this. I really hope you liked this video. I'll be back with another one soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I really hope it helps you, and yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.